Hey guys, sorry for bad mic quality.
Just kidding, we got a new mic, hey! So Nintendo really scared everyone last year with the complete absence of directs and moving to a more shadow dropping information. Think about like Paper Mario and Pikmin 3 that just came out of nowhere. Pikmin 3 on Switch being the highest selling in the series. Now this is an argument that could be made as to why Nintendo hasn't done any directs in 2020, that they feel like they don't need it anymore and they can just shadow drop these and still make bank. But the argument could be made that the Switch is just a powerhouse right now and it just keeps building momentum. Either way, we don't know what's on Nintendo's mind, but something that really piqued everyone's interest. Nintendo has been making job postings, and in the recent job posting, they requested assist with filmmaking, live action footage for use of Nintendo Directs and other marketing initiatives. This could be for anything. Direct minis are still real. Nintendo's been doing a bunch of live action commercials. Nintendo's president Furukawa spoke on 2021 during a quarterly conference saying that for this fiscal year, a topic we will discuss at an appropriate time, talking about the next line of releases. Furukawa then goes on to say, talking about Mario's 3D World Plus coming out this February, Monster Hunter Rise, and Pokemon Snap being the most notable titles of the coming year. Saying that there's more titles in store is honestly just normal jargon. They're saying it to the stockholders. Obviously, the main thing on everyone's mind, Breath of the Wild 2, I'm really looking out for Metroid Prime 4. There's a lot to anticipate. A lot of this Breath of the Wild 2 buzz is coming from the fact that this is the 35th anniversary of Zelda. I mean, we'll see after what happened with the 30th anniversary of Fire Emblem.
Mars.
Needless to say, there is a lot of potential titles that could be dropped, and that's why people are expecting some type of direct. Because with these frequent shadow announcement micro news drops, it always seems like we don't know what's going to happen next, or that in the next few months after Pokemon Snap, which comes out in April, I think, what's going to happen for summer and on the rest of the year. People are used to knowing what to expect in the upcoming years. I think the real thing that's going on is just Doug Bowser's incredibly camera shy. Seriously, where the hell has this guy been? Another Nintendo news, 3D World Plus got completely leaked. And no one is surprised. This has been a long-running thing of Nintendo games getting leaked a week prior, so watch out for any spoilers. The base game is enough to get me excited for a revisit. Bowser's Fury looks fun. I'm excited to see what happens. I've been avoiding spoilers. You probably know by now that it's leaked, but just gonna mention it. Oh, Nintendo. It's also worth mentioning that Oatmeal Dome pointed out 3D World Plus will use the next Windows 98 looking ass servers and not NPLN. We'll see how much this affects stuff. When I was playing Monster Hunter Rise demo, I hadn't noticed anything different. I think that it is still heavily peer-to-peer focused, but still a faster routing switch in the middle, even if it's peer-to-peer, could help greatly. Speaking on Nintendo Shadow announcing all these things really close to the release, ties into news about Bayonetta 3. Last week, we talked about how Kamiya, lead director of Platinum Games for games like Bayonetta, had mentioned that he wishes that people would just forget about it for now. But Kamiya is stating that they have to be so hush-hush because the publisher, in this case Bayonetta 3 publisher, is Nintendo. He then goes on to talk about Project GG, the last of his Super Sentai trilogy, and how independently produced projects allows for complete transparency. This is Nintendo, the absolute ultimate gatekeeper of all things news. So this actually excites me because usually when we do end up getting news on a Nintendo game, it's like a few months or a season before it actually drops. So whenever we do get news on this in a direct or however they decide to do it through a Twitter post, you can expect the game will come out within like 6 months of that announcement. Moving outside of Nintendo into the land of arguably more hated companies, Ubisoft's been getting a lot of criticism lately because Ubisoft added so many microtransaction armor sets that it now is the same amount of armor in the base game. Now, microtransactions aren't new. Cosmetic microtransactions always get a pass from people. The problem here is that there's been no significant DLC or expansion. All the news related drops have just been microtransaction armor, and people are starting to get fed up. The Reddit post exploded, and now major news sources picked it up, and here we are. I've also got Assassin's Creed just to test what's up on my Series X, but I'd like to point out that it is the highest selling holiday 2020 game. Cyberpunk was in the lead, but then you know what happened with that, and Assassin's Creed became the winner, breaking the mold of Call of Duty being the highest selling holiday game for the past like 10 years almost. And I've seen pretty decent community feedback on Valhalla. I was playing the game, it's all right. It's pretty fun. It's an awesome technical showcase of next-gen hardware. There's not many to pick from though. So the last thing Ubisoft needs to do is to diminish their public reception, which they've actually started building up since the days of like Unity and their annual Assassin's Creed releases. Don't break people's trust. You just started getting it back, guys. And that's it. Please let me know any news stories you'd like to talk about in the comments or how you feel about Nintendo. Personally, I'm okay with enjoying the ride. The one thing I cannot stand though is limited releases. If it ended up happening that the next piece of Breath of the Wild 2 news is like right before the game's release, how would you feel about that? Although it would be incredibly hyped, would you be annoyed? Because now you're just in the state of like, is today the day? Is today the day? Is today the day? Instead of ahead of the time news release cycles, like a Nintendo Direct type thing. Like, this is what's happening this year. My only problem with the shadow drops is when they take advantage of like the immediate hype that builds up when people don't expect anything. Like limited releases with the whole Mario thing. I keep bringing that up, but this is honestly the most consumer unfriendly thing that Nintendo could possibly do. And it's even more scummy when they couple it with just an immediate news drop and hey, this game is coming out soon. As always, please leave any other news stories you want me to talk about, and y'all just got dumped on. Bye-bye.